Although no one knows what the oldest signs of human life are in Kazakhstan, for me, it was the prehistoric burial grounds found in northern Kazakhstan, which were made by a people known as the Andronovs. No, they weren't Russian. They lived here around 4,000 years ago and disappeared without a trace. In 1969, in the extreme south of Kazakhstan, the skeleton of the, quote, Golden Man was found. It was dated to be 2,300 years old and is thought to have belonged to a Scythian man. The Scythians were a tribe who lived in Eastern Europe and Central Asia. From 50 BCE to 100 CE, Kazakhstan was largely ruled by the empire known as the Xiongnu Empire. It was founded by a mysterious man named Xiongnu. The empire also had a unique culture which featured beautiful art made of gold and bronze. The Xiongnu were killed off by the Han after the Han-Xiongnu War, which they lost. From 295 to 400, the area where we find modern-day Kazakhstan was taken over by the Huns, another Central Asian tribe. They later founded what's now Hungary, which means I'm likely maybe a small bit Central Asian. Anyways, enough about me. The Huns set up an empire known as the Hanukk Empire, but this was not to last. In 459, after the death of the most important Hunnic leader / king, Attila the Hun, the empire collapsed. By 460, the neighboring Iran Khaganate had taken over what's now eastern Kazakhstan. These Irans were basically the original Mongolians. The empire was known for its talented steel workers who made excellent swords and creepy coins. In 588, the Iran Khaganate was ended by a Turkic people known as the Gökturks, who you may remember from Bill Wirtz's History of the World, I guess. These Gökturks established the first Turkic Khaganate. During its existence, the Gökturks struggled to run their Khaganate, which is why it split into two after a civil war. The Western and Eastern Turkic Khaganates had both fallen by 765. By 766, the Gökturks had fled from what's now Kazakhstan because of war, allowing a people from what's now far west China known as the Uyghurs to take over. They then founded the Uyghur Khaganate. These Uyghurs had a language and culture which was completely unique from the rest of Central Asia, meaning if the Central Asian tribes and Uyghurs interacted, which they did a lot, they couldn't have understanding each other. Unlike many people groups which are featured in this episode of history for Kazakhstan, the Uyghurs still exist today and are known to have been treated horribly by the Chinese government. By 847, after a pandemic, epidemic, famine, and series of wars, the Uyghur Khaganate fell. This allowed two Turkic, not Turkish, Turkic people groups known as the Kara and Khanid to make the Kara Khanid Khanate. It was more of a federation of tribes than a unified Khanate, which wasn't good. While existing, this Khanate fought with basically every people around them. In 1207, citizens of this Khanate rebelled, allowing the Khanate's decline to begin, and an empire would soon take its place. This empire was one of the biggest in history. In 1208, a man named Temujin Khan renamed himself Genghis Khan and founded the Mongol Empire. By 1260, the Mongol Empire had become the second largest empire in history in terms of land. It was only beaten by the British Empire. The difference in land between the British and Mongol empires is about the same as the U.S. state of Connecticut. In 1266, Genghis Khan suddenly died, supposedly by falling off a horse. Without Genghis Khan's leadership, the Mongol Empire soon shattered into four smaller Khanates. The Khanate we are focusing on, which ruled most of what's now Kazakhstan, was known as the Golden Horde. Through its 1,000-year history, the people of Kazakhstan, which literally means Kazakh country, Stan means country, by the way, never had their own country or empire until in 1465, the Kazakhs would finally begin ruling themselves with the creation of the Kazakh Khanate. This Khanate lasted for nearly 400 years because of the vicious warriors the Kazakhs were. Oh, by the way, this is the flag of the Kazakh Khanate, just saying. From 1643 to 1756, the Kazakh Khanate fought with the Zungars, a tribe from what's now modern Uzbekistan, in the Kazakh-Zungar Wars. Around 10,000 people from both sides died in it. It was a Kazakh victory and caused the downfall of the Zungar Khanate and people. In 1848, unfortunately for the Kazakhs, the Kazakh Khanate was ended by the Russian Empire, who was likely motivated to end it since the Kazakhs were kidnapping Russians and selling them into slavery. Anyways, in 1917, the Russian Empire was ended by the Bolsheviks, leading to the founding of the Soviet Union. While this did to Kazakhstan was it being made into the Alaush autonomy. Well, this was not to last. Just a little side note, if you're curious to know what flag this is, it isn't Turkey, it's the flag of the Alaush autonomy. In 1936, the Kazakh Soviet Socialist Republic, or KSSR, was established. It lasted through 1991. While we were on the trend of the Soviets, in 1955 at the Baikonur Cosmodrome, or the Russian Space Center in Kazakhstan, the radioactivity leaked outside the station, causing it to become one of the most radioactive places in the world. You could say it's the most radioactive country in the world. No one is allowed to come near it, and it sits abandoned to this day. On December 26, 1991, the Soviet Union fell, giving birth to the nation of Kazakhstan. Coming up next will be Belarus, if there is a revolution, and if not, Brazil will be coming up next. And with that, that is my history of Kazakhstan. Thank you all so much for watching.